Welcome to the Board of Clackamas County Commissioners. Issues and updates for July 13, 2021. Administrator Gary Schmidt, you're up.
Thank you, Chair Smith. Commissioners Schrader and Fisher are still at the National Association of Counties Conference, so they will not be here today. With that, because we may not have quorum for the entire time, I'm going to shift the order of items this morning. We'll start with the request for consent agenda, because we do need an action on that today. So we'll start with Health, Housing, and Human Services. Mary, I think that's you. Come on down. So I'll read the item, and then if you just have a 1 to 2 minute update on anything I didn't add. So these are requests for consent agenda. First, approval of an amendment to a subrecipient agreement with the Mental Health and Addictions Association of Oregon for older adult peer support services. The amendment adds $19,498.88 for a maximum grant value of $175,489.91. Funding is through the federal pass-through dollars and state of Oregon mental health program dollars. No county general funds are involved. Mary Rumbaugh is interim Deputy Director of H3S. So Mary, anything to add?
Good morning, Chair Smith, Commissioners, Administrator Schmidt. The only thing I would add is this is just an amendment by 3 months. We're adding some additional dollars because we're actually in a formal procurement. So we want to ensure this is a current service. We want to ensure there's no gaps in service. So it's just a three-month amendment.
Any comments? Seeing none. Next.
Okay. Next, approval of an amendment to a subrecipient agreement with the Mental Health and Addiction Association of Oregon for alcohol and drug recovery peer-delivered services. The amendment adds $87,976.43 for a maximum grant value of $791,797.79. Funded through federal pass-through dollars and state of Oregon mental health program dollars. No county general funds are involved.
This is the same issue. We're in a formal procurement, so we are just asking for a 3-month extension, so there are no gaps in current services.
Any comments? Seeing none. Next.
Approval of a subrecipient agreement with the Clackamas County Children's Commission for the Help Me Grow program. Maximum contract value is $72,000, funded through Health Share of Oregon grant. No county general funds are involved.
So this is a public health agreement, so this would be an agreement with Clackamas County Children's Commission on the Help Me Grow program, which is really a coordinated system of early childhood and health sector partners to help identify families and children at risk of developmental delays and to then connect them with services.
Any comments? Seeing none. Next.
Approval of an agreement with the Oregon Department of Transportation, Rail, and Public Transit Division for rural transportation funds for operations funding for the Mount Hood Express. Maximum agreement of $636,999 through special transportation funds and $9,500 through county general funds.
So this would allow for continued bus service between the City of Sandy, Government Camp, and Timberline along other locations of the Mount Hood area. And if it's helpful in context, in 2006, the BCC approved the county general fund, so this is a very long-term ongoing agreement.
Any comments? Seeing none. Next.
Approval to apply for a grant from the Oregon Department of Education Youth Development Division for youth and community to fund PreventNet community school sites in Clackamas County. Total of $1 million, which is $50,000 per PreventNet site per year for 2 years. This is funded through the Oregon Department of Education Youth Development Division. No county general funds are involved.
So this funding would allow us to continue to provide PreventNet community school sites in 10 schools, 2 in high schools and 8 in middle schools across 7 school districts. So these are existing programs, and this funding would allow us to continue these programs. Mm-hmm.
Cool. Any comments? Seeing none. Next.
Approval of a storage lease agreement with Torgen Storage, Oregon City, for one 10x20 first floor storage unit for 2 years. Total cost is $10,680. or $445 a month for 24 months, funded through the State of Oregon Department of Education through its Early Learning Division. No county general funds are involved.
So CFCC receives a lot of materials to do much of their early learning, and we have been working with county county facilities to identify whether we have any adequate storage space, and unfortunately, either because of location or just the space of the storage, we really don't have anything on campus or on site that the county already owns. So we are asking to go ahead and do this lease agreement so that we have adequate places to store our supplies.
Paul.
This just seems expensive.
It does.
I'll be honest with you, so only because, you know, I know what it costs. So I don't know if that was competitive or not.
They did obtain 3 bids. I'm not sure that this was necessarily the lowest bid. It was certainly the most convenient for the location of where the staff are at. So we could certainly get you the background documentation on the bids.
Okay. Just helping someone I know who was struggling financially. Recently, a 10x10 just went up to $125 a month. This is twice the space. That's
Yeah.
$250 a month.
Okay.
And this is almost not twice as much, but it's $245 more than
Okay.
that. So,
Why don't we get you some more background
yeah,
information?
$200 more.
I suspected this would be open for discussion, so.
So would you like to pull this item or still go forward?
Well,
I just, whatever staff feels comfortable with.
I was just at this facility yesterday with a friend. And it's multi-level, and you take an elevator, and I don't know if this is a ground level for certain ADA requirements, because they do have those there. I'm in agreement with Commissioner Savas on the price on this, because I know what this person
Okay.
rented theirs for. I would like to pull this.
Okay.
I think some more due diligence needs to be done on this. And I'm wondering, Gary, is this a countywide issue that we have stuff that we get? Maybe in our disasters, we get a lot of donations for stuff. What do we do with all that? And I don't know if we even have facilities around to put, obviously we don't. And I'm wondering, this could be a growing issue. Commissioner Savas.
So is there anything in there that's perishable, or, I mean, what do we?
No, it's workbooks, it's books for parents, it's activity.
And this facility
thank-
is climate controlled.
Right, and that was another reason to consider it.
It's climate control. You can say it's a 10x20 shipping container you can buy on the market
Right.
for $2,500 and delivered for $3,000. And your business for, if you got the land underneath it, but
Yeah.
it's not necessarily climate control unless you have it under a tree. And that's not for cold weather though, but.
No.
Right.
Yeah, this is really a lot of money.
Yeah,
For what it is.
Really, we can pull it, we'll get you a little bit more information. This has been we have literally been trying to figure out how to resolve this, to not have to bring, not actually have to request a lease agreement. So we've clearly managed with, stacking supplies. So we can pull this and then bring it back with more
And maybe we end up
information.
approving this, Mary, I don't know.
Okay, no,
But,
I understand.
geez, it just seems like a lot of money. Especially if you are getting a 24-month lease. This other person has a month-to-month lease.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a whole lot proportionately in your right. So I would think we'd have some negotiating ability in a 24-month lease.
Mm-hmm.
Gee, Clackamas County comes in, they think, we're ripe for, paying all kinds of money. I think staff just needs to be a little more diligent in saying, we need to negotiate
Okay.
this.
Happy to
I do have
get
one
some
other
more
question
information.
that Gary is that, because under 50,000, is an RFP really required? It seems to me that if we were more, I won't say, if the approach was different and they didn't know it was the county and someone makes a phone call, say, yeah, I want to lease this place under these particular conditions. Oh, and by the way, we're the Clackamas County, and you have a preset price, I mean, the approach might give you a more competitive price.
I do see this as a first floor storage unit. I would bet those would be more premium than the others. And if it's books, why do we need to be on the first floor?
Yeah, okay. Happy to go back.
All right, great question. So we're pulling this item right away. I'd be curious, how many other storage agreements does Clackamas County have as an entity? And I don't know, Elizabeth, if that's something you can easily pull through your department, just countywide. And then my other question is, we have a lot of facilities, and with respect to your team, Mary, why can't we use an existing county facility? We have a lot of buildings everywhere, so I'd like to
Yeah.
pursue countywide what the issue, the larger term issue there. But for now, we'll pull this, Mary.
No
Okay.
problem, thank you.
Thank you. May we move on? Chair?
Yes,
Okay.
please continue.
Okay, number 7, approval of an interagency subrecipient agreement with Foothills Community Church Malala Adult Community Center to provide social services for Clackamas County residents. Maximum agreement is $177,884, funded through the Older Americans Act, Ride Connection Pass-Through, and Low-Income Home Energy Assistance Program funds. No county general funds are involved.
So we actually have several of these. We're a little out of order, so I'll give a little bit more detail, and then I'll reference that this is actually the same or same type of agreement. So this is specific with Foothills Community Church and the Malala Adult Community Center, focused on Malala and Malino area. So the services they provide include congregate and home-delivered meals, health promotion activities, transportation, and information and referral services. So when we get to the other agreements, I'll just be able to reference more specific the area. This is actually the 5th and final year of this funding.
And then what happens after that? Do they renew the agreement?
There is an option for renewal.
Because this particular issue has been kind of kicked around from church to church in Molalla. It's a very necessary service, and I'm glad we're doing it.
Yeah.
Any other comments? Go ahead.
All right, approval of an agreement with the Oregon Department of Transportation, Rail and Public Transit Division for enhanced mobility funds for preventative maintenance and operations funding for the Mount Hood Express, transportation reaching people, and transportation services to Boring. Maximum agreement is $215,111, funded through the Federal Transit Administration Elderly Disabled Transportation Grant. No county general funds are involved.
So primarily, this is really about preventative maintenance and operations in the Mount Hood Express bus service, as well as any additional supports that the elderly or disabled in Boring need around transportation.
Comments? Seeing none.
Approval of a local subrecipient grant agreement amendment with LifeWorks Northwest to provide relief nursery services in Clackamas County. The amendment adds $72,000 for a maximum value of $290,260 and extends the end date to June 30, 2022. This is funded through county general funds.
So this is the relief nursery through LifeWorks Northwest. So they provide services to Clackamas County families with children under the age of 6 who are at risk for or have experienced child abuse or neglect. They provide therapeutic programs and home visitation services or equivalent virtual support currently with ongoing home-based parent education and respite care.
Great.
Pretty critical.
It is. Comments? Seeing none.
Approval of an interagency subrecipient agreement with the Hoodland Senior Center to provide social services for Clackamas County residents. Maximum agreement is $82,728, funded through the Older Americans Act, Ride Connection Pass-Through, and Low Income Home Energy Assistance Program. No county general funds are involved.
So this is similar to the previous one. So this is focused on the residents living in the villages of the Mount Hood area.
Any comments? Seeing none.
Approval of an interagency subrecipient agreement with Friends of Canby Adult Center to provide social services for Clackamas County residents. Maximum agreement is $236,735, funded through the Older American Act Ride Connection Pass-Through and Low Income Home Energy Assistance Program. No county general funds are involved.
So as indicated, this is focusing on the residents in the Canby area.
Great. Any comments? Seeing none.
Approval of an interagency subrecipient agreement with the City of Sandy Senior and Community Center to provide social services for Clackamas County residents. Maximum agreement is $194,706, funded through the Older Americans Act, Ride Connection Pass-Through, and Low Income Home Energy Assistance Program. No county general funds are involved.
So this will be focused on the Sandy Boring service area.
Any comments? Seeing none.
Approval of a local subrecipient grant agreement with immigration and refugee community organizations to provide kindergarten readiness partnership and innovation summer extension services. The amendment adds $12,527 for a maximum value of $47,527 and extends the end date to September 30, 2021. Funded through the State of Oregon Department of Education through its Early Learning Division. No county general funds are involved.
So the Immigration and Refugee Community Organization, as we often refer to as IRCO, will be providing linguistically and culturally appropriate summer expansion programs, including kindergarten-ready field trips and support, and registering families and preparing children for kindergarten this fall.
Thank you. Any comments? Seeing none.
All right, so Mary, this will all go on next week's agenda, correct? And anything more urgent than that?
Nope.
Okay, great. Thank you, Mary.
Great, thank you.
Next, Sarah, come on down, North Clackamas Parks and Recreation District. The first item, Milwaukee Bay Park Project, we're going to hold till next week because we're still doing some more data collection, so we'll come back to you next week on that one. Second one is approval of a subrecipient grant agreement between North Clackamas Parks and Recreation District and Health, Housing, and Human Services, Social Services Division. The agreement is not to exceed $424,192, funded through the Older Americans Act, Oregon Department of Human Services, State Unit on Aging, Federal Transportation Administration funds, through Ride Connection, and other funds. No county general funds are involved. Go ahead.
Thank you. Good morning. Yes. So this is very similar to what Mary was just talking about, and this would go out to all of the NCPRD district residents ages 60 and older. And it provides congregate meals, home-delivered meals, health promotion activities, transportation, and information and referral activities. So it provides resources to individuals over 60 to meet their individual needs and remain independent.
Any comments?
Just
Paul?
one question. For what period of time
This,
does that 424 go? Is that annual, quarterly?
it's annual, so it goes July 1st of this year through June 30th of 2022.
Thank you.
Any other comments? Seeing none.
Does there need to be a partner agreement on the county side with H3S?
So we have a subrecipient grant agreement with them. So we are both listed on the agreement, and I was thinking about that as I was listening to Mary talk. I think we're signing as the recipient of the funds, and then they'll be signing as well. So
I mean, does it have to go before the board, Stephen? Does it have to go before the board to give the money, to accept it from NCPRD as a county entity? Shouldn't there be two
Right.
partner parallel agreements here?
Yes, there should.
So H3S should want to do a similar one of these to accept the funds, right? Or has it already happened?
on their recipient side, I see what you're saying.
Yes, yeah,
I would imagine, yes.
okay,
Yeah.
all right.
We
so-
have the subrecipient grant agreement, so it's between the county acting by and through H3S with North Clackamas
Right.
Parks and Rec District.
So if you could just, Sarah and Mary, work together so that the H3S has the one they also bring forward to the board.
Certainly.
So we cover all the bases?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank
Thank
you.
you very much. Next, Department of Transportation and Development. Dan, come forward, please. First, approval of a contract with Eagle Elsner for the Arista Area Paving Project. Contract value is $238,182.50, funded through the Community Road Fund. No county general funds are involved.
Thank you so much. The Arista paving package is an asphalt paving contract for the Arista area consisting of 3 locations: Southeast Lee Avenue, Southeast Arista Drive, Southeast Silver Springs Drive. All of these are local roads, which is one of the focus of the Community Road Fund. This paving package,
Sorry.
little feedback, little echo.
Whoops.
Essentially,
There.
we're good?
Got it.
That was
Fat
awesome.
thumb.
Project was advertised in accordance with ORS and LCRB rules on February 22nd of 2021. Bids were opened June 3rd. The county received 4 bids. After review of the bids, Eagle Elsner, Inc. was determined to be the lowest responding bidder.
Great. Any comments for Dan? Seeing none?
Next, approval of a contract with Pacific Landscape Services for landscape services. Total contract not to exceed $1,463,888, including $450,000 for on-call services, funded through the County Road Fund. No county general funds are involved.
Thank you so much. I want to emphasize one point of fact. This is in a contract that will extend from July 1st, 2021 through June 30th, 2026. So it is a multi-year contract. So it's not a one-year contract. Make
Okay,
sure we're
good.
clear about that. Transportation Maintenance Division manages 6 different zones that have landscaping needs. This work area is approximately 19 acres in size, to give you an idea about the scope and scale of this particular landscaping needs. This contract will include, but not limited to, weed control, pruning, and tree maintenance, removing visual obstructions, dead plants, raking out, shrubing, trimming, and clearing sidewalks. Yearly maintenance is required to maintain safety throughout our county right-of-ways. The project was advertised in accordance with ORS and LCRB rules on April 19, 2021. County received 4 proposals. An evaluation committee of 4 from the Department of Transportation and Development personnel scored Pacific Landscaping Services the highest awarded points for those 4 that were responding. We request this go forward for consideration by the board.
Any comments? for
I have a
Dan?
question.
Yes, Mark.
On the $450,000 for on-call services, is that paid out on an hourly basis based on need?
Yes, we do task orders for specific ways. So you
Okay.
have the $1 million to set aside for those specific areas, and if a certain task comes forward,
Yeah.
then we develop a task order specific for that, and then release that, and they can withdraw from those particular funds. If it's above and beyond the certain scale of services.
So potentially, this amount of money might not be required.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Good question. Any comments? More? Seeing none.
Okay, can these wait till next week, July 22nd? I forgot to ask that for Sarah, but it'll have to wait till next week, too. Okay, great. Thank you, Commissioners. Thank you, team. Back to the start of the agenda for issues, American Rescue Plan Act update. Let's do the general update first, and then the letter review. Nancy Bush, County Operations Officer, and Elizabeth Comfort, Finance Director. They are co-chairs of the Internal Staff Committee on ARPA.
Good morning. So we don't have a lot for the update because we do have a session this afternoon at 1:30 to go over some dollars that we are hoping to get out the door very quickly, especially as we see more information coming out about the guidance and what's been going on there. It's been a big topic at NACO this week, I've heard, so I've been reading on that as well.
Oh, good.
But it's conflicting information, so it's going to be
Oh,
interesting to see.
shocking.
At some point,
No,
they need to
you're
land on something.
certainly jesting with us.
I am not. So we do continue to get in requests for projects they'd like to see with our ARPA dollars. We continue to collect that. And as we move forward, the committee will take a look at everything, bring that to the commissioners, and let you know what our recommendations are. So that's basically our update for today, since we have an hour with you this afternoon.
Yes, I really look forward to it, as I know our other members do. Any,
Yeah, I'll just express this, and maybe later this afternoon we can discuss it more. But I saw the draft, or the letter, and I saw all the things you incorporated. So the shelter piece was definitely included. And I'm just really wondering, between all of the pressures and consequences of COVID, which we discussed earlier, actually, things that are related, I mean, even including the extra stresses, financially, mental health issues, people are stressed out, right? That we're seeing a spike in those needs, and I'm hoping that there's eligibility based on that somehow. I don't know how we craft that in writing, but I appreciate having the shelters included in there as far as the request to include that. But a number of the supportive housing services as well, all of those factors that we are seeing consequences.
So for public health and behavioral health, that is already very clearly in the guidance. You've approved $3 million to go to continue the work that has been done in the EOC, and behavioral health is a part of that. There is an opportunity, of course, to come back and say, we have these programs that we would like to see enhanced in public health or behavioral health. But that is already clearly in the guidance. I don't think there's any issues around that in particular.
Okay.
There is still confusion around sheltering and what the wraparound services may be, so we're hoping to have that cleared up.
Okay, so things like suicide or increases in suicide, no matter what population it is or age group or whatnot, is covered?
Yes,
Or-
yes, behavioral health is, got a pretty broad blanket, I would
Does
say.
it?
Yes, and public health as well.
Good.
Both have a very broad, so like Washington County, for example, is using some of the ARPA money to extend their WIC services, for example, because
the WIC services?
because people are
Women's
out of,
Food.
yeah, they're out of work. The WIC program is probably going to have more stress on it. So the guidance is really broad when it comes to behavioral health as well as public health.
We're going to discuss this letter next, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so should we just jump into this
Yes,
session right now?
so next is draft comment letter on the American Rescue Plan Act guidance to the U.S. Treasury. There's a draft letter in your packet. Nancy and Elizabeth, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. So last week, we brought the issues to you about what should go into the letter, and we did get feedback from Commissioner Savas about the housing issues and housing shelters, which we did add to the letter. Most of the letter is about preparedness and those of us in the country that have had more than one event to work with, and how that impacted us and why we think that they should put that back into the guidance, because it was in the guidance at one time, but was taken out. And then we also have the encouragement there to make sure that our broadband dollars remain broad. And not to make it more specific, because we're afraid if they make it more specific, then we will not be eligible for those dollars, because our county, we have 425,000 in population, but we have very rural parts of the county, but they look at the county population instead of do you have so many in rural areas. So we are encouraging them to keep that broad as well. And that is the letter for your consideration.
I was surprised that you mentioned this about broadband. I know, I'm glad, but I'm surprised it needed further clarification with the efforts of the federal government to get it out into these rural areas. Why would we need clarification, I guess is why I'm asking.
Yeah, I think that broadband has been, it's interesting how they do it, because they talk about population per county a lot, and Dave will be here this afternoon, can talk to this as well, but it seems like those things are written that just Clackamas County is right there where we can't quite get into some of the funding streams. And this one right now is wide open, and we want to keep it that way.
But you like some of the additions, defensible space around homes, that's a really important education effort. County fairgrounds, large animal sheltering, love that. And then evacuation routes and resources. All this is really good. If we approve this today, what is the next steps on this?
It has to be turned in by Friday,
Okay.
so it has to be signed either today or between now and Friday, and we can turn it in hopefully Thursday.
Do commissioners have any comments on this letter? Any questions, additions to it?
I got one
yes.
question. On the part regarding building new housing shelters, this doesn't specify any kind of shelter. Are you thinking about mini house developments? Are you thinking about money for hotel rooms? What exactly?
No, this is actually not hotel rooms. This is about building like temporary shelters for people to go into temporarily before they move out. And it's maybe similar to what the Vets Village may look like.
Transition.
Yeah.
But it's more that transition housing. We didn't want to say specifically, because we
Yes.
want it to be
Got it.
up
Okay.
to the jurisdiction.
That's good. I was hoping that's what was going to be. Thank you.
So
Yeah.
a lower cost alternative.
Yes.
Yes.
Love that idea.
Yes.
Yeah. Any other edits for the, do we need a motion?
Yes, please.
I'll accept a motion to approve this letter.
Move to approve the letter?
Mark, second it.
Seconded.
Motion has been made by Commissioner Savas, seconded by Commissioner Scholl. Any further comments? Hearing none. Shannon, would you please take the poll?
Commissioner Savas?
Aye.
Commissioner Scholl?
Aye.
Chair Smith?
Aye, motion passes 3-0. Thank you very much. And who signs this letter?
You will, Chair.
Okay.
Great, thank you, Nancy and Elizabeth. Next, Commissioners, you received a communication from the Bonneville Power Administration about their Big Eddy Ostrander No. 1 Reconductor project. The Bonneville Power Administration is going to be reconducting 66.5 miles of transmission line, which is called the Big Eddy Ostrander No. 1 line. This line was built in 1960 and has reached the end of its lifespan. This work will be conducted in right-of-way that BPA, Bonneville Power Administration, has access to, but it does encompass multiple counties and tribal lands across Oregon. For us in Clackamas County, it impacts the areas around Sandy, Estacada, Brightwood, Rhododendron, and Government Camp. This is just notice that this activity will be occurring. You do have the ability to send comments on this project if you wish, or just to stay silent. This was just a notification from the Bonneville Power Administration. So I forwarded you the memo they sent to me. My question is, would you like to make any comments? Would you like a briefing by BPA? Would you like to do anything with this other than simply accept that they're notifying us?
My opinion on this is Bonneville Power Administration is a large federal government under the auspices of the Department of Energy. They're going to do what they will do. I would suggest not making comments nor asking for a briefing, but if you want to say thank you for the notification, that was quite kind. Mark.
Of course, Bonneville Power's got right-of-ways, existing lines are there. My only question would be, when they go about replacing these lines, what about coordination with local residents? That would be the only question I would have on that.
So my husband did this for many years. he did right-of-way negotiations in the 4 western states for Bonneville Power. And there is a plan in place that they do that. It's very specific, it's very much outlined by law. And the federal government has wide and sweeping powers to do what they want, when they want, to the consternation of maybe some of us. So they are our region's electricity provider. It's a very important agency. But good questions, Mark.
Yeah, good, thanks.
If something comes up, we'll figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm happy then to acknowledge receipt of the letter, thank them for letting us know, and I could share, Commissioner Shull, just please make sure you communicate openly with the residents in the area and others as you go through the project. So I can leave it at that, if that's okay with you, Commissioners.
Yep.
Okay, very good, thank you. Next, Commissioners, I am seeking your approval for me to attend the International City County Management Association International Conference that will be held in Portland, Oregon this October. The cost of registration for this conference is $720 for members of this association. I am a member of this association. I'm seeking your approval to spend county general funds or public dollars on these registration fees. I do feel attendance at this conference will help me learn even more, to help me be a more effective county administrator to best serve you and the public of Clackamas County. Yet I want to be fully transparent and ask you if you approve me spending these registration fees or not.
Gary, what are the dates on this?
It is October 2 through 6, so it's a Sunday through a Wednesday. So I would only miss Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday of work week, but Nancy Bush would cover for me in
Sure.
my absence.
Well, I always like it when our professionals take time for enhancement and development of their skills. Any other comments?
Yeah, my comment, Gary, I'm just surprised that it's here. I thought that you would not even be necessary to ask. It would be a natural thing for you to do, so you have my blessing.
Yep.
Thank you. It is not required that I ask, but I want to be fully upfront with you, Commissioners, on how I'm spending the dollars of the public, and it's for me personally, so I just wanted to bring that up in public.
Yeah, it may be for you personally, but you know, I'm going to benefit from you going. You know, Mark and Paul, we're all going to benefit, so thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioners. Next, advisory boards and commission appointments. Shannon, go ahead, please.
The Economic Development Commission, staffed by Business and Community Services, currently has 16 member openings due to term expirations. These are 3-year terms. They received 12 applications and 7 applicants are recommended. Michael Telford, appointment to first term. Carol Pauley, appointment to first term. Eric Estep, appointment to first term. Vance Tong, appointment to second term. John Lamott, appointment to second term. Laura Edmonds, appointment to second term. And Shannon Illis, appointment to second term.
Any comments about any of this from my commissioners? I'll accept a motion.
Move to approve?
Seconded.
Commissioner Savas has moved to approve the ABC appointment to the
Economic Development Commission.
Economic Development Commission. Thank you. And Commissioner Shull has seconded. Any further comments? Seeing none, Shannon, please call the poll.
Commissioner Shull?
Aye.
Commissioner Savas?
Aye.
Chair Smith?
Aye. Motion passes 3-0. Thank you.
Thank you, Shannon. Next, a review of your business meeting agenda for this Thursday, July 15th, 2021. It is a 10 a.m. business meeting. You have Housing Authority consent agenda, 2 public hearings, one on second reading of a board order, planning for summer congestion around Barton and Carver Parks, and the second is also a second reading of an ordinance amending the county code for secondhand dealers, and then you have a lengthy consent agenda, normal county consent agenda items. If you have any questions on any of these agenda items, please let me know, and staff can provide that to you prior to Thursday.
Shouldn't be too lengthy of a meeting, I'm saying. We'll see.
Hopefully, well, it'll be as long as it needs to be, Commissioners, for you to do your business. All right, next, Metro Congestion Pricing Study, draft letter. Commissioner Savas, there is a draft in your packet letter. Go ahead,
Yeah.
Commissioner.
So thank you. I brought this up here recently, and it's a letter to the members of JPAC and the Metro Council. They did really a high-level study. As a matter of fact, even some of their slides on their slide deck say high level. However, what they are seeking to do is take some of these high-level studies that haven't really done the deep analysis and incorporate that into the regional transportation plan, which we all live and breathe by. It's federally required. The concern about that is that it's so high level that one could interpret it any which way you would like to, and I think that's problematic. And really what they looked at was things like parking, pricing, however you want, whichever way, order you want to use it, VMT, which is vehicle miles traveled, and basically in that VMT, looking at a regional, basically if it was gas tax collected, it would be like a gas tax increase. So they're looking at two different models of that at this study, as well as congestion pricing or cordon pricing of the local roads. So very concerned. I was contacted by some elected officials in Washington County. They asked me to speak before the Washington County Coordinating Committee, similar to our C4. I did that yesterday. They approved it almost unanimously yesterday to change the language. At the very bottom of the letter, it reads, to change the resolution to read, the Metro Council hereby directs staff to continue further analysis and refinement of the study to address unanswered questions and considerations and return to JPAC and Metro Council to share those results prior to seeking direction under the future RTP update. So basically, you did great work, do more, answer some of the questions, do more detail, and then bring it back. So that's the request. Simply like your approval of the letter, and I will speak to that Thursday morning.
And they're seeking more direction, and you have identified in this letter 5 areas that they need to address that have not been addressed, correct?
Yeah, and these are broad enough that hopefully
Yes.
they will solicit more detail from both the electeds at the JPAC table and regional staff for all the jurisdictions. And a lot of the technical work is done at that level.
Commissioner Scholl, questions?
Question. Commissioner Savas, do you feel that the study adequately talks about administrative overhead in applying any kind of tolling?
No, it doesn't have that level of detail, so we're asking for more detail.
Are you asking for that kind of detail also?
So the letter basically, I'm assuming, again, technical staff will be asking some of those more, this study actually created more questions than it did answers. So there's a lot, and if we were to list them all out, it's probably not a good exercise at this point in time, because I'm sure we'll leave things out that other jurisdictions will pick up as well and their staff. So this is really saying it's not ready for the RTP, go back and do some more work.
Okay,
And
thanks.
maybe that indeed will be some of that, but when you look at some of the pricing suggestions in there, they're pretty steep.
Okay, thank you.
So
I see Dan Johnson is in the room. Do you have any comments on this, since you're our transportation guy? Okay, I would like the entire board to sign this. I think it has more impact.
I'd love that, yeah.
Okay, good.
So I do have a question, because we have 2 members absent, so if we vote to have signatures and all, and that shouldn't be a problem with our colleagues, being they're not here to vote on it, actually.
Well, it comes before our board on Thursday, correct?
No, it has to be approved today.
Yeah, it has to be approved today, so I can.
Well, then let's have the 3 of us sign it, I guess.
Okay.
Let's,
However you want to do it.
I recommend the 3 of us sign it, and I'll just explain to the other commissioners. So we wanted you to, you probably would have approved it, but we need to move forward.
Or perhaps Gary, we can ask and solicit our PAs to ping our colleagues and ask them to join.
Where are they anyway? Are they on a plane?
They're doing hill visits today, and then they'll
Oh.
be flying home later today.
That's going to be difficult for them.
Normally, all 5 commissioners should give a head nod that they approve their signatures. I have a proposal. How about it's signed on behalf of the Board of County Commissioners, and Tootie and Paul sign it. Tootie is the chair, and
And you
Paul
as
is the
vice
vice
chair.
chair and JPAC rep. Is that okay, Mark? It would be excluding you, but
That's fine.
that way we don't have the awkwardness of why are 3 here and not 2.
Right, yeah, well, I think make it as complete as possible. I think that does it.
Yeah, because time sounds like it is a factor.
Okay. So if you then would just make a motion to approve the letter, and then we'll
Okay,
get it
so
done.
I move to approve the letter as with the signatures as amended.
Seconded?
Motion has been moved to approve this letter, and seconded moved by Commissioner Savas, approved by Commissioner Scholl. Any further discussion? Seeing none, would you please take the poll?
Commissioner Scholl,
Aye.
Commissioner Savas,
Aye.
Chair Smith?
Aye, motion passes 3-0. Thank you.
Great, thank you.
So the other letter that I broached this morning with the chair and the administrator, as a result of a technical committee meeting on Friday, I learned yesterday the details about that. You all approved, the board approved moving forward with the I-205 project consistent with HB 3055. The congestion pricing is part of that because it's required that the MPO, JPAC, approve what's called the MTIP amendment that goes along with that to make this all compatible. On Friday, apparently, there was some opposition to that. So we're concerned that there is two things, that there's not enough, well, we feel there's enough support to get it across the finish line at JPAC, then it goes to the Metro Council for approval. But also that same morning at about 9 o'clock, the OTC, Chair Van Brockman is the chair of that, will be hearing public testimony, and there will be quite a bit of opposition from the anti-road group that'll speaking. So I thought this letter's addressed to the OTC, and I thought it might be best if Chair Smith via Zoom testified at the OTC meeting at Thursday morning at 9 o'clock before the business meeting. They'll be given preferential treatment because they're elected to be speaking early, so they won't be on the call a long time. So twofold, I'll pass the letters around.
Sure.
Just approval of the letter and would be appreciated, and we'll circulate that at JPAC and also the Metro Council and the OTC. Staff crafted this,
Would you want this approved right now?
yes, because of the timing.
I wish I would have seen this letter before right now.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. When I broached it this morning, it's pretty innocuous, I think. There's not much there that it's consistent with our board goals.
Can we can we come back this afternoon?
Yeah, sure,
And
absolutely.
discuss it then? And also we can post it online because
Oh,
we haven't
absolutely,
done
yeah,
that.
that's
Yeah,
totally.
let's do that, Paul. Thank you.
You bet.
I will try to attend the Zoom. I think staff is going to try to be on it. Thursday mornings are a bugger for us, as you know.
Yeah, and I'll be in the JPAC meeting from 7:30 in the morning till 9 something, so I will not be able to do it myself.
Okay. We'll try to make it work.
All right, so we'll bring this back this afternoon, and we'll post it online, so commissioners, you have time to look at it and have any edits, let us know by this afternoon. Okay, great. Next, board business meeting at the Clackamas County Fair this August. Chair Smith, would you like to discuss that?
Yes. I'm going to recommend the board consider not having our business meeting conducted at the Clackamas County Fair this year. I'm concerned about outside influences and politicizing the fair. This year, for whatever reason, this Board of County Commissioners has been subject to a lot of accusations and opinions and even violence directed toward us. I do not want that to spill over into the fair. It's not necessary that we conduct our meeting at the fair. I just think it politicizes it for this year. I would like to revisit it next year. There are certain procedures that we went through, like having the FFA kids come forward, which we can do, and having the court, the queen and princesses come through, that we acknowledge them. We can do that at the opening ceremonies. We can attend the parade, open up the fair like we always do. Some of our departments are going to have booths. I think 3 different departments are going to have booths, and Clackamas County government will have a presence with our logos at a certain place. But I'm just going to recommend that we not do that. The only commissioner I talked to about this, I think it was Paul, and I think it was Martha. Martha's in agreement. She's not here, though. I don't want to speak for her. Did not get a chance to talk to Commissioner Fisher about it. But the problem with this, there's this setup, and there's this microphone, and it just, the speakers just go out. And so somebody says something, and you hear the accusation. Somebody out, by the pig farm hears the accusation, or maybe not, but they don't hear the explanation. So they think that might be true. And so for this year, my gut just tells me that we don't do the business meeting this year. Comments?
Sounds like a good idea to me.
So with that in mind, Gary, we're going to be on break for 2 weeks after that, so we'll hold our business meeting here.
Yes, we'd hold the business meeting here on site. We would cancel the Tuesday policy sessions of that week so you could be at the opening ceremonies for the
Right,
county fair.
right. And so any of our business that needs to be done, our departments need to accelerate it, as you know.
Yep, yep.
So what week is the fair? The dates?
17 through 21 August.
Yep.
All right, I'm hearing agreement, so we'll hold the business meeting on site at the county offices and not at the county fair this year. All right, thank you. Finally, you're making great time today, commissioners. Commissioner Communications is the last item.
Ooh, who wants to go first? Commissioner Scholl.
Chair Smith, I really don't have anything for today.
Commissioner Salas.
A lot of transportation stuff going on. I would just say that since HB 2017 passed, the workload on transportation has been tremendous. We have been asking for more time on the JPAC agenda to discuss things, and it's been presentation heavy. So I spoke to the chair yesterday about that. A number of people around the table, the region, are asking for more time. There might be an accommodation or adjustment that either add another meeting to the month or adding, excuse me, a half an hour longer to the meetings, which might mean that, excuse me, that it'll be harder for me to get to the business meeting on that third Thursday. So I'm not the only commissioner that actually has that same thing. Multnomah County, their meeting starts at 9:30, ours starts at 10.
Oh.
They have about a 20, 30-minute drive from Metro to the Multnomah County. I have a 45-minute,
At least.
50-minute drive from Metro to Oregon City, so.
Well, we'll have to make an accommodation if
So
that's the way it is.
just a heads up, just to let you know that might be an outcome, and strategy and all those kinds of things might be impacted.
And we'll have to make sure we have a quorum, and my other commissioners need to know that they need to be present.
But that's all I have for an update.
Yeah, I don't really have any updates at this time. Gary?
Okay, that is it for the morning then. We'll be back at 1:30 PM today.
Wow,
Thank
that was
you.
fast.
Yeah, that was quick.